So game week 2 has been and gone. Some players came out of it looking amazing. Some teams came out of it looking pretty poor. We'll cover all of that and my rankings coming up next. What's up guys, and welcome to JNO United, bringing you the best in football news, entertainment and games. And today we're looking forward towards game week 3, having just gone through game week 2, and I've done okay again. Nothing to run home about, nothing to scream at the top of your lungs. I got 57 points. The average was 57 points, so I'm just average. That puts my game week rank at 1.8 million-ish somewhere. I can't be bothered to remember the whole number because, you know, 1.8 million. The highest point total of the game week was actually 118, so yeah, someone did a lot better than I did. And of course that has had a negative effect on my rankings in nearly all of my leagues. The most important one being I'm now 298th in the JNO Classic. Damn, that just doesn't sound good. Also, it saw me get defeats in the JNO New School League and the Old School League. But in the So Many Requests League, I did actually manage to pick up a victory by 1 point. So really, it was a disappointing game week, despite the fact I captained Aguero. And that was my star man, of course. Aguero managed to get 2 goals and 3 bonus points, giving me a total of 26 points off of him, pretty much rescuing my game week. The only other player to come out of my team with some plaudits was Luke Shaw, who managed to get an assist and a clean sheet. And then everyone else pretty much turned up, and that's about all they did. Eden Hazard did get an assist, but then he went and got a yellow card, which ruined that for me. And I've gone and used the 2 transfer I had, because I didn't use a transfer last game week, to pretty much bring in the other big hitter that isn't Sergio Aguero. That's right, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is in my side. I just feel like I can't ignore it anymore. It looks like those two are going to run riot over the league this year. If we look at the dream team of the week, there's a lot of people on 13 points. We have Ibrahimovic, Nolito, Aguero and Stuani. Not someone I'd heard about until this weekend. Literally had 2 shots on goal, both went in, and what a cracker that first goal was against Sunderland. For a goal conversion rate of 100%, Stuani gets my star of the week purely because he was just clinical in his 2 chances that he had in that game. Coming in at 4.9 million, if he can keep a place in the side and can keep that conversion rate anywhere near what it is currently, then potentially we've got a very cheap forward on our hands. But it's become very clear that Karanka seems to like rotating his players apart from Negredo by the looks of it. So it's unlikely that he's going to be a fantasy football option for us FPL players. Fall of the week goes to Harry Arter for getting sent off. 1 for dissent, the first yellow card, and then for what looked like a stupid tackle, just grabbing the shirt and pulling a player down. Players need to start to learn not to argue with the referee, because clearly those stupid yellow cards can end up with sending offs. Diego Costa was lucky to not get sent off as well. So players really need to realise they can't argue with the ref anymore. Harry Arter at 5 million, no goal threat, created 1 chance, and got -1 points for the game week. I hope you didn't have Harry Arter. Now, he didn't get the most points, but I do want to point out Curtis Davis to you all, because he's had an incredible 2 game weeks. Curtis Davis in game week 2 managed to get a clean sheet, and on top of that he managed to get an assist. He had 4 aerial duels, which he won 3 of. He had 9 interceptions and 5 clearances, and blocked 3 attempts on goal, having 2 attempts on goal himself, 1 of which was on target. Having scored last week and assisting this week, Curtis Davis looks like a dangerous player from set pieces, and who thought you'd be suggesting a whole defender as a viable FPL option this early in the season. Now if we look on to game week 3, the big game is the first game on Saturday, Spurs against Liverpool. If this is anything like Liverpool's games against big clubs, Liverpool will actually turn up to this game, because they won't come up against a bank of 4, a defensively solid team. So they should be able to score some goals if the game is open. But Spurs can be quite good defensively, and Spurs can be a goal threat as well. I don't know how the game's going to go. I think it all is dependent on how good Spurs' defence is. If it is good, I think Spurs will win this game. Another big game is Hull against Man United. Everyone's going to be watching to see if Ibra can carry on his form, but everyone will also be watching to see if Hull can somehow still keep getting points, despite the fact they've got 13 first choice professional players. And also everyone will be watching Pogba, the most expensive player in the world, who did have a great game on that Friday night fixture. And then of course on Sunday we've got Man City versus West Ham. Everyone's going to be seeing if Aguero can match whatever Ibra did on Saturday, and it will answer a lot of questions going into the international transfer window about which strikers you need. And I think it's going to be that we have to have cheaper midfielders just to get Aguero and Ibrahimovic in the side, which makes players like Barkley and Lamela a lot more viable options now than they were at the beginning of the season. So moving on to my captain choice of Game Week 3, and it's going to be a brave man that doesn't pick Aguero or Ibrahimovic. But who is actually the better option? If we look at the last 2 game weeks, we can see that there are some trends in both players' games which could help you decide who you need to captain in a game week. If we look at Aguero first, he's had 3 goals in 2 Premier League games. All 3 of those goals have come from inside the box, 2 of which have been penalties. He's had 10 attempts on goal and 9 of them have come from inside the box. 5 of them have been on target, which gives him a shot accuracy rate of 50% and a goal conversion rate of 30%. And we have to take into account that he is more expensive than Ibrahimovic at 13.1 million to Ibra's 11.6. Meanwhile, Ibra has scored 3 goals himself. 2 have come from inside the box, 1 of which was a penalty. He's had 5 attempts on goal, 3 of which have been from inside the box, but 4 of them have been on target. That gives him a shot accuracy rate of 80% and a goal conversion rate of 60%. Now, the thing is, if you're comparing the 2 players, Aguero is going to be a lot more lively in the box. Ibra is a lot more laid back in his approach to the game. That's not to mean that he doesn't get into the right places at the right time, but he's not going to be running around and running behind the defence like Aguero does. I believe because of that, Aguero is going to get more chances to score, and for Ibra to keep up with Aguero, he's going to have to be more clinical. At the moment, that is what he's doing. So at the moment, you kind of need both in your team because they're both going to, if they carry on, be the top scorers in the league. But I think Aguero is more important to FPL sides because I think those amount of chances are going to turn into more goals at some point in the season. Of course, I could be wrong, and either way, I suggest that you get both in your sides until it's obvious that one is dropping off of form or one of them gets injured. But if you want to go down a completely different route, then I think you could look at Diego Costa as a differential. Again, another player who I never thought I'd be saying is a differential. Coming in at 9.5% ownership, he has a home game against Burnley in Game Week 3. He's scored 2 goals already, 1 which came from inside the box. He's had 4 attempts on goal, 2 of which have come from inside the box, and 3 of them have been on target. That gives him a shot accuracy rate of 75% and a goal conversion rate of 50%. Which is better than Aguero's shot accuracy and goal conversion wise, and is approaching that of Ibra's. Now the problem with Costa, of course, is he is a bit of a, for want of a better word, in fact I'm not going to swear or say something nasty, but Diego Costa is Diego Costa. You're looking at a player that is going to pick up yellow cards, that is going to get sent off, that is going to frustrate you, and is going to lose you points because of his disciplinary issues. Again, another player that needs to learn you can't argue with the referee anymore, and a player that's going to have to learn that if you're going to dive, at least do it convincingly. And coming on to my red herring of the week, and I'm looking at the whole of the Liverpool side. That performance against Burnley proves that possession isn't important anymore, as long as you can make your chances count. They had a ridiculous amount of chances, but the fact of the matter is they didn't have many chances inside the box. They didn't have many chances that looked like they were going to go in, and they didn't really threaten that Burnley goal. Coutinho did what Coutinho does. His underlying stats look great, but a lot of his shots came from outside the box, and this time they weren't on target. I think if you watch that Burnley game, that proves to you why Mane and Firmino are going to be better options in your FPL sides than Coutinho. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm loving doing the show. I'm loving all the support, so thank you so much. I appreciate if you do not like the other content like Football Manager or FIFA, but just like I've said before, I love football and this channel is about all of football. So I hope you appreciate that, and if you don't want to watch the other stuff, that's fine. I don't expect you to watch anything you don't want to watch. But FPL Today will be here every week, so you'll have something to watch at least once a week. I've been JNO, you've been awesome, and remember, it's all about the game.